What's up, everyone? It's Jeremy Majors here with Majors Academy Dog Training out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And this is YouTube Live. And this is the first time that we're doing that, but I wanted to let you know who I was. We might not have any viewers, but if you do view, this is a dog training Q&A. So if you have any questions about your dog, ask a trainer, ask a professional. I've been doing it for about 10 years. I mostly work with fearful and aggressive dogs. And yeah, but that is not to say I don't work with all kinds of dogs. It doesn't matter what the temperament, the size, or the issue. We work with any and all dogs. Alright. Let me just set up my Thirsty Thursday live video on my Facebook page real quick. Episode 29. Bam! Dog training Q&A. Q and A. Let's get it. There we go. What's up, everyone? Jeremy here with Majors Academy Dog Training, and I am live on YouTube and on Facebook. So if you have one or two or both, catch me there live answering dog questions. I see we got a couple of viewers. Hey viewers, what's up? My name is Jeremy. I'm a dog trainer out in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I've been doing it for about 10 years, and I'm just here to answer any questions you may have. I'm sure if you are watching me on YouTube, you have seen some of my videos. If you have any questions about those videos, please let me know. Hey Kim, how are you? And yeah, feel free to ask some questions about anything. We are currently, it is news all over the place that they are trying to, there's a large group of people that are trying to ban prong collars in Florida, and both Florida and Toronto. And we have done a good job of letting our voice be heard in those areas before any legislation passed in regards to trying to regulate the dog training business. Again, I was just talking to someone about the politics when it comes to trying to regulate the dog training business, and what some trainers will try and do that work with positive only will try and make it so that those tools are inhumane. And so what the International Association of Canine Professionals and Tyler Muto have done a good job. Shout out to Tyler Muto, the president of the AACP. If you guys want to check that out, Cesar Milan is actually a member of this organization, but it is one of the few professional organizations that I belong to. I don't belong to many. All right, so the IACP is one that I belong to, and the United States Schutzen Club is another one that I belong to. But other than that, certifications can be here or there. So those two organizations are pretty big. One of them is an international. Actually, both of them are international, but one is United States specific. The IACP is sort of international. So there's people all over the world that are in this group. But anyway, we are one of the groups that lead that sort of movement to make sure that we can always use tools and owners can use tools. And a lot of the service dog organizations have reached out to try and stop that legislation as well, because you don't want to limit the tools trainers can use and even people can use, because there are a lot of dogs that definitely are in dire need of these tools. They don't have the time to learn without them. Because it is my philosophy that they can learn without them, but it just takes a really long time. But a lot of dogs don't have time, so you are literally saving lives if you're an advocate for some of these tools. All right, that's enough talking. You guys ask me a question. We are live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube. YouTube has a nice little feature you can go live too, so feel free to ask any questions. Otherwise, I can just keep talking about stuff. I can usually talk about just the dogs that we're working at the training facility, and or just clients that I've had. I can tell you this right now. There's a dog that I've been working with, and I won't really disclose a lot of information other than this dog has bit several people, I'm just going to say more than 4. And we've working this dog. I've only had 2 sessions with this dog. And boy, has the owner really put in some work the week between our visits. The first time the dog came and saw me, it took us about a half an hour to 45 minutes to just get the dog to listen to the owner. I mean, the dog just literally was not having it. Just like, and so when it came back this last week, I think it was this Wednesday. When you say bite, do you mean aggressive or too rough play biting? No, I mean bite with intent to hurt. I really mean bite to intent to hurt. So this isn't just a regular bite. This is a full-grown dog that was very territorial and or protective of the owner. All right, and the owner at one point, the dog. Well, so what we did, what was part of our training protocol was, the dog came here. We went on a 30-minute walk, and then we did some place work, right? And then I said, let the dog go, let the dog free. Let the dog free roam. What'd the dog do? Came right up to me, sniffed sort of around my feet, then came or walked around again and sniffed right behind me and stuff like that. And she was so nervous. She was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. But I had to tell her that I wasn't worried at all. Why? Because the dog is only territorial or protective. That's when the dog bit. At home or when it was out and the owner was right there on leash. So, territorial or protective. But that was all alleviated because we showed 30 minutes, 45 minutes of control, right? The dog became safe about me because of the control the owner had for that first 30 minutes of the session. And it wasn't like I was trying to touch the dog. I don't do that. But I'm like, dog's tail wagging. Now, if that dog decided to pop off, go ahead and bite me, then I would have told them to be honest with you guys, I would have told them to put the dog down, because no dogs, I've never had a dog just all of a sudden be comfortable walking around in that regard after 30 minutes of control. That's the key. 30 minutes of much of control and compliance too, right? So not just them holding the dog back, the dog wanting to listen or has no choice but to listen. Then you see a dog that is much more comfortable with their environment. So I would have recommended they put that dog down if the dog just was okay roaming around, all of a sudden then decided to attack me, I was just standing there. I wasn't advancing towards the owner. I wasn't doing any kind of, I was just chilling, leaning against the wall, right? And so I've never had a dog, no matter how aggressive they were, never had a dog attack me in that regard. So that's why I can say that with confidence. But the cool thing was, she was so nervous, and I was like, the dog has no reason to attack me right now. The dog has no reason to attack me right now. I'm not doing anything. I didn't pose a threat. And we had 30 minutes of control, which showed your dog that I was okay. That's the key, right? So this person hasn't had a dog or a person over her house because of this dog for a year and a half. A whole year and a half. So, and because she's that nervous. But, it's all about showing the dog that you can take control and they don't have to. But they have to listen. So that's what we got. That was our goal with that dog, is getting the dog to have to listen. And we can show her, which empowers the owner, that the dog actually has a chance to meet her boyfriend. Dog hasn't even met the boyfriend yet for a whole year. So. Sibling rivalry. My foster met her sister at the dog park and fought. It was quick, separated without incident. Yeah, that's a real thing. I haven't, to be honest, I haven't worked too much with sibling rivalry. I do know I've only worked with 2 bull terriers that were siblings, and I can tell you that it was pretty bad. Sometimes it can get, really ugly. Sometimes it can be really smooth. I'm gonna say you like this though. I'm gonna tell you like this: if 2 dogs just really have to have a lot of management to coexist, it just may not be a good fit. It's kind of I look at it like this, you can't always be there, and you can try your hardest to see if they can establish a relationship with your control there, but eventually, since I do believe that you shouldn't have to be there all the time for dogs to get there, to a point where they can coexist without your supervision, I don't think it's worth it. So I would try and see if you can establish a relationship with your control at first, but if you don't, excuse me, if you can't gain control, or if you can't see progress in their relationship, then then it might not just be a good thing to keep them together. But it's a real thing. A lot of dynamic happens in the litter. A lot of things can happen in the litter. And I was working with one of my other clients, talking about what all goes on in the litter with the weeks, or the weeks that they stay with their mother. And I wanted to question, cheers B, I wanted to question how much of nurture can actually have an impact on the dog in its later life, right? So obviously the nature is going to play a big part of it, because it's weeks old and it's with its mother. But how much can we manipulate to change, as far as, say if we do have a genetically fearful puppy, how much can we do to influence that fear, so that, nurture sort of takes over that nature, How to stop a reactive dog. On walks, reactive to people and dogs. Not mean, more excited, but going through chemo. I'm walking where we don't run into a bunch due to large dogs. 1 reactive. Hold on a second. It's only going to let me see half of your question here. Let me pull up my computer so I can get the rest of it. People on YouTube, I don't know who you are, because they're not going to show me who you are. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm a dog trainer. I'm live on YouTube and Facebook. Be sure to check out Majors Academy Dog Training on Facebook for more content. I get tons of content. I have tons of content on Facebook. That's where my biggest platform is. But let me go ahead and pull up Facebook Live on my laptop so I can make sure I'm getting everybody's question. All right. How to stop a reactive dog. On walks, reactive to people and dogs. Not mean, overexcited, more excited, but going through chemo. I'm walking where we don't run into a bunch due to large dogs. 1 reactive weighing almost the same as me. So we don't run into a bunch of due to 2 large dogs. So are you walking 2 large dogs? Are you going through chemo, or the dog's going through chemo? What's up, Sarah? Trying to think of a good question you haven't already answered. Go ahead, or if you have something you want to talk about, just say it. We're here for until 7, so. Man, the light is so much better on YouTube than it is on Facebook. I need to fix that. All right, I got another question from Amy. Hi, Amy. I am currently fostering a dog that is very territorial and needs to be the alpha. He is very fearful of cars. The other day, another foster was here picking up supplies, and I was outside with him, and he started her car. Oh, when she started her car, he went ballistic, barking and lunging at the car until it was out of sight. I had a slip lead on him, and that seemed to make it worse as he turned and started biting at me, who was holding the leash. He wasn't necessarily biting at me, more the leash, but he was hard to get under control. Suggestions on how to get him comfortable with car engines. He's 20 pounds, by the way. All right, Amy. So what I think you're dealing with is tension, frustration. And what I mean by that is I want you to check out a video that I just put on Facebook probably a week ago with the Dutch Shepherd that was car aggressive. And it was the same thing as what you mentioned. The dog got really frustrated and decided to bite back. You know, some dogs will bite you for that. Some dogs will bite out of frustration because they feel like they want to get to whatever is making them scared, right? So what I would do is somehow create no tension in that instance. And so if you watch that video, I use a retractable leash simply because I'm giving him the choice to go ahead and go towards that car. Obviously, the retractable leash isn't going to allow him to get completely to the car. But if he has that option, along with some of your correction, but I mean by correction is just like a little snatch of the chain and then release tension. Not tension, no. Don't hold him back, right? Let him kind of know that he can't do that, but also give him the freedom to make a choice. Not hold him back. That's a big difference, and it plays a big difference in their psychology. So scroll down and watch my video that I just had, that I just posted about the Dutch Shepherd named Titan. And that explains sort of some of the things that I do with dogs that get frustrated when it comes to tension. You may first of all just need to get some more control with him overall, not just with cars, but just with walking and stuff like that. So that's what I would do. That's what I would start with, more control and just the basics. And then once he's walking with you well, then you can take him out towards the cars and stuff like that. But make sure that when you're working with him, that he has no tension, because tension will create frustration, which is why he's starting to turn back and bite you. All right, thanks for your question. That's a good question. All right. Let's see. A bunch of other dogs. I'm going through chemo. They weigh 120 pounds total. All right. So if you're having trouble with walking them, Ray, if you can, get help walking them or walk them one at a time. I would definitely maybe recommend that. Going on shorter walks and controlled walks will get them just as tired as going on a big, long, out-of-control walk. I'll say that again. Going on a controlled walk that's shorter, where the dog has to actually do something, is much better than a dog going on a long walk and it doing whatever it wants. It's much more even exhausting for the dog to go on a short walk at a slow pace than going on a long walk, fast pace and out of control. All right, thank you for your question. Kristen says, is there a ratio for feeding pounds per cup? Depends on how much your dog weighs. You know, I usually give my dogs are about 60 pounds each. I usually feed them about 2.5 cups a day. Sometimes 3 cups, depending on how much, activity they've done. And then I just watch their weight. If their weight gets too high, I decrease the food. If the weight gets too low, then I increase the food. So it's more about watching how much you feed them and how that affects their weight. All right, but I'm not a diet expert at all. I'm not, so that's just what I do. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait, whoa. Have you worked with children and how wow, we've been overfeeding. How much do you feed your dogs? All right. Have you worked with children and how they act around dog to help enforce consistency in training? Yes, absolutely. It's super important to work with the children because they also need to learn how to act around the dog. They need to learn the manners. They need to learn the signals. They need to learn how to really, even bond with the dog. So they need to know sort of some animal husbandry. They need to learn how to walk the dog. They need to learn how to make the dog listen, sit before they go out of the door. They need to learn, the basics. Go to your bed, and you want a leadership. You want your dog to take leadership from your children as well, if they can. But if they're not able to, then if they're not able to learn, then I would definitely say, always try and supervise, because a lot of children do get hurt because of that. So that dynamic. So yeah. Thanks for your question. Okay, here they come. Jesus. All right. Just to remind you guys, I know I got a couple more viewers on YouTube. I'm on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. Listen, and so if you see me not looking at the camera, it's just because I'm looking at the other camera. And so I'm splitting my attention between YouTube and Facebook. Alyssa, can you come turn this light on? See if it makes it a little better for the Facebook. Can you just turn that one right on there? Let's see. Yeah, that one too. Let's see. Yeah. Thanks. All right. So if you just joined in, please feel free to ask a question. We are here till 7. And I just want to make sure I'm getting all the questions here because they come and they disappear. So bear with me or take a sip of your drink. Let's see. Did I get all the questions? But how do I stop him from reacting? All right, so when you are working with him one-on-one, when you are working with your boy one-on-one, oh, look at that. That's brilliant. All right, here we go. When you are working with him one-on-one, first of all, you have to make sure you're using some equipment that will get your dog to respond the way you want it to respond. So also try this. Try to remember that you have to cut the fuse before the bomb blows up, right? So when a dog reacts, it looks at what it's going to react to before it reacts. So in that moment is when you need to advocate, right? So if this is the dog, this little pin top, and we're walking through, right? Here comes the dog. Doop, 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 doop. The dog looks at the pin. Or wait, let's go this way. Dog goes like this with his head, right? And the ears are up. That's when you want to advocate. So you can just keep going like this. Doop, 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 right? But if you let this dog do this, and then focus, and then try to correct, it's not going to work. That's too late. So get the dog. So first of all, know your neighborhood. Let's start that. Hashtag know your neighborhood. Let's start that movement, right? Hashtag know your neighborhood. Know where those reactive dogs are. Be proactive, and anticipate that your dog is going to become insecure when you approach that dog. So that you can be ready. You have to be ready. If you allow that dog to blow up and then you try and reel that dog back in by a way of your control, it's too late. Do it. Correct the thought. Correct that right there. That look. Imagine if my eyebrows were their ears, right? So the look, eyebrows up like that. Correct right there, so you can keep them ears back and their eyes soft. But correct that right there. Don't correct the barking. Too late. Harder to get through to them. So know your neighborhood. Know where there are reactive dogs. Know where there could be possible loose dogs and advocate for your dog on a leash. So you may have to have tools with you in order to reach your dog. The pet convincer, the prong collar, okay? And make sure your heel is okay too. Make sure you're giving your dog something to do on the walk. That way the dog isn't solely focused on what it wants to do, but what it has to do. Aren't you in your experience, what is the biggest mistakes owners make in training? I would say the biggest mistake is, that's a good question. You're making me think. The biggest mistake owners make. Not staying in touch. Not staying in tune. Thank you, Ray. Not keeping, not sticking with the game plan. I know things are tough. I know things get tough sometimes, and but the people that I have a lot of success with are the ones who stay engaged. That's it. Staying engaged is probably the biggest thing that they have to do in order to. You have to hear it many times, not just one time, right? So, for example, my board and trains, they come back, and we spend about an hour or 2 hours, and I teach them all that I've taught the dog. And I always tell people, I'm here. You will not be bothering me. It is my job. Please call me. If you have a question tonight, let me know. And then we offer free private lessons for the rest of the dog's life if you buy a board and train package with us. Because my goal, it's a lot of money first of all, but my goal is to make sure that we are advocating for the dog always. So, and what I mean by staying engaged is not only when you have a question, texting me, emailing me, calling me, but also coming to pack walks on Saturdays. That's super beneficial because you then are able to create a dialogue with people who have gone through the same thing. And you can see their dogs, you can evaluate their dogs, you can see some dogs, they wouldn't even imagine that they could have done what they're doing, even just in the pack walk, being around dogs and people and not going after them. Many dogs like that. So you can also experience dogs, and you can sort of get a little bit of encouragement and hope, and talking to my other clients and seeing what they go through, because we're all going through it. I'm going through it with my dogs, and it's a progress. So I would say that's a big answer for that little question. But I would say, it's staying engaged, I think, is the biggest mistake. What do you think? What do you think is the biggest mistake? But if I could have one thing that all owners could do, that would be it. Put a lot of emphasis on that. Okay, we got some more followers in YouTube. So I'm going to reintroduce myself, and I'm sorry I got to keep doing this. But my name is Jeremy Majors. I'm live on YouTube for the first time. We are a dog training company out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we work with mostly fearful and aggressive dogs, the misunderstood ones, the discriminated ones. We work with those. And so if you have any questions, it's a dog training Q&A. Feel free to ask. We're here until we still got another 30 minutes. All right. So ask away if you have any questions. Otherwise, it's Thirsty Thursdays, and so you should have a beer or a beverage of your choice in your hand. Cheers. "100% best advice you gave there. Maintain that training mode and frame of mind. It's hard to not give in, to train and get soft. But I've seen with Ben that all little things get us big results." Yes, indeed. Amen to that. Have you ever found it useful to teach a dog? Oh, there he goes. Okay. Have you ever found it useful to teach a dog eye contact as a command? No, I have not. I don't think demanding it is a good thing. And it's not a bad thing, but I don't think it's something people should be working on, right? I think it's a fad in dog training. I really do think it's a fad in dog training is just watch me, look at me. And yes, when they're looking at you, they can't really look at other things that they would necessarily react to. But I don't think it's necessary. I think my approach is to have the dog under control first and foremost, and then allow the dog to look at what they're insecure about. Because the dog needs to go through all of that and mess up many times so that you have the chance then to advocate for the dog. So the dog needs to look and be exposed to as many times as possible to what you are working. And so if we're just trying to, I do think in a little bit that that is going around the problem. Look at me, don't look at that. No, look at that and let me show you that you still have to sit while you're looking at that, so then you can get over any insecurities you have while looking at that, right? So if I have a dog that's reactive towards another dog, okay, I can give you a little bit of wiggle room there. I don't necessarily allow the dog to stare, but we're in the beginning. It depends on how insecure the dog is. In the beginning, I will, if the dog is really intense about it, I won't allow them to look at it, but I'm not trying to get the focus on me. I'm just trying to, I would try to just get them to do something, which would mean most of the time would be walk. If we're at that intense of a level, we're just going to keep walking, and your job is to walk. Once you calm down a little bit and you can walk right and you can sit well, then if there's dogs barking on the other side of the fence over across the street, then I may sit the dog and we'll just chill there until the dog sort of gets bored. But that's after some sessions of just walking and control work on my part. So, but no, I don't think it's necessary for a dog to do the watch me command. I know some trainers that do it, and I think that they do a really good job, and I think it's fantastic. There's some dog trainers who in Canada that I can think of that really teach that, that command. But I really think that giving the dog a job to do, and then allowing them to go through it, and then allowing them to even mess up, gets you to where you want to be quicker. Because eventually, it's going to be to need to look at it, right? It's going to have to look at it. And so I say, let them look. So that was another long question to a very short, another long answer to a very short question. Sorry, but thanks for your question. I had 2 people leave during that answer. Sorry. Okay. How do you regain control of your pack? With multiple dogs, it seems one is always getting picked on by the alpha in the house at the time. Since Porter is with you, the other large male has taken the alpha role. So Porter is the alpha role? Let me tell you a little something about Porter, first of all. All right, so let me just read your question again. How do you regain control of your pack? With multiple dogs, it seems one is always getting picked on by the alpha in the house, and at the time, since Porter is with you, the other large male has taken the alpha role. I have all my dogs, anytime I'm socializing dogs, I have them voice command. So they will stop if I say stop. That's the type of control that I have with my dogs. I never allow bullying. If the play is not mutual, then I'm going to stop it and separate, or just sort of let them de-escalate, right? So let their energy kind of just go back to being calm. But I don't allow bullying. I'm big on fair play. And if the moment that I hear vocal, like if I know that I have dogs that may not get along, and the play starts to get vocal, then I stop it immediately, because that's a really sort of easy sign to and or a very short step in escalation. So if they're not playing fair, and if they're playing with if they don't know each other well, or if they have had a bad past, then I don't allow any vocalization. Okay, so that's where I would start. Trying to get control of your pack by way of voice, especially the one who's doing the bullying. I would correct him, calm him down, gain more control of him, and then I think you will be, you'll see that you can have more control over your pack. All right, thanks for your question. Recommendations on a dog core that is dozer's proof. A dog what? Dog what? This boy is hard on his stuff. Oh, a dog toy? Is that what you said, meant? There is no toy that's dozer proof. I know dozer. There's no toy that's dog proof for that dog. I haven't found one that's dog proof for my pit bull, so I know it's not going to be dog proof for dozer. But when I find out, I'm going to let you know. What if a dog is deaf? In regards to what? What were we just talking about? Oh, you're talking about play? If a dog is deaf and you need to communicate with the dog, you can remote collar train that dog. And you can use vibrate settings. I would get a vibration collar for that deaf dog if you want to communicate with that dog off leash. That would be great. I've done that with about 3 or 4 dogs now. Vibration collars work really well for deaf dogs. I've got this horse trainer that I'm working with. Man, she's got this deaf cattle dog. Oh my God, this dog is freaking a superstar. Car aggressive and whatnot, but boy, she can down that dog. I mean, because they're deaf, they pay extra attention to your body cues, right? So these dogs are super, super sensitive when it comes to your body language. And this woman can just go like this, boop, and anywhere it is, where's the best place to get the, go to ecollar.com, collar.com, and you can find a vibration collar there. And then I would maybe recommend consulting a professional on getting your dog to be conditioned to that collar, because it's going to make a big difference if you're properly educated and your dog is properly educated. But I know you, and you've commented on my videos, and I appreciate your comments, man. Thank you. All right. Recommendation on, oh yeah, we already answered that. Oh, a cot? What is he doing? Chewing up the cot? Hi, Jody. Whiskey's doing well. He is stubborn, though. I'm going to tell you that right now. Whiskey is one stubborn dog. Holy smokes. He's like, if I don't want to do this, I'm not doing it. And it goes as far as getting him in a sit, getting him on a down. I did a treadmill session with him today, and it went much better. But the first time I did it was 2 days ago. Whoo-wee! He did not want to do that. If he doesn't want to do something, he will definitely test your patience. So he's a stubborn dog. He's a fun dog. He's already getting really nice and relaxed with me. Much more easier than June, but fun-loving dog, but very stubborn. But that's okay. We're working on that. That's why he's here. All right, let's see if I missed any questions. I'm going to open up my second beer. Anybody drinking with me? If so, what are you drinking? I wish I could see you guys' beers, because I need some more beers. All I've got is porters, and it's going to get warm here in a second. I don't want to drink porters when it's warm. Wait a minute. Someone just asked me a question. Let's see. Show. Okay. That doesn't work. But yeah, if he's chewing up his dog bed, or if he's just too heavy for it, this is what I got my dogs. Let me show you, Kim. I don't have a cot anymore. I have this. You see that? Mama, say hi. She got that big old thing to her bed. Yeah, I don't use cots except for training. My dogs sleep on. I bought that bed for about $150, but it was on sale. So anyway, all right, folks, give me some more questions. I think we got about 15 minutes left. Give me some more questions. I don't have anything else to talk about. Zeus is still doing really well. Ray is still doing really well. Zeus is just, I talk about him every daggone week, but he's just a complete 180 so far. He's really learning how to control his impulses. He's a dog that had to control, and we're showing him that you don't have to. We got this. I got you. You don't have to control everything with such intensity. He was an intense dog. But when you start to take control, and when you start to say, "Yo, I got this," then you start to see the real dog too. You start to see the real dog come out. And to be honest, he's quite soft. Jake the owner may not like to hear that, but he's a softie. He underneath all of that intense interior, it's sort of like the insecure guy who's a bodybuilder, and but deep down inside he's just like a mama's boy. That's what Zeus is. He really is. All he wants is cuddles and chew on sticks and stuff. I don't know, but he's never met someone who could call his bluff on it until he met me, and that's a big problem. Like for a lot of dogs, is they may look intimidating, but deep down inside, they're just screaming for help. Zeus wanted someone to say, "All right, I got this," so he can relax. Think about how many times he became intense because he thought he had to handle the situation, and you just got to know why they're doing what they're doing, so that you can address it. That's just not who he is. His reactivity is not who he is. He just didn't know he had another choice. But now he's starting to know that he has other choices. Calm choices. More conducive choices. Right? But if you just let him do whatever he wants, people would say, "Oh, pit bulls are so this way." No. He's just acting in the way that he has to be because of how he was treated before he got to his owner. And so he wasn't advocated for in a very crucial time to be advocated for. So it's not about their reaction as to who they are as a dog, more so than who they are if they have options to be something else. Damn, that's a good quote. So if you give them the options to be something other than who they are and they choose not to, then that makes the case for them not being who you think they are. As opposed to if you've clearly gave them options to act another way and they still act the same way, then you can start to say, "All right, well, this dog's just super intense. That's just his nature." But that's not Zeus. Zeus's nature. It comes off as that way because he feels he has to do it. But let's give him another option to get what he wants. Right? So his bark, his intense, his biting got him what he wanted. But now it doesn't. So let's see if he chooses something else other than that. Dobby is 16 months and we're running out of time for your boot camp. Try to save up money. Dobby is deaf. Okay. Yep. I mean, we're here when you need us. Is he dog aggressive? Is he human aggressive? What's up with Dobby? That's a great name, by the way. We love Dobby. Sometimes my dog looks like Dobby when she makes certain ear postures, gestures. I don't know. It's funny. We love Harry Potter. We're big Harry Potter fans. Uh-oh. I got some questions. He stands on it or he digs. His named him. All right. Someone's drinking some coffee, some Cabernet, huh? Heading from work. Hate working Thursdays and missing you. Mike's in my future. Okay. High Life. Hey, got some High Life up in there. What you drinking? You make it old fashioned? No. We don't got the ingredient. What do you mean about giving the dog a job on the walk? Great question. I'm sorry, I missed all these questions. All right. So giving a dog a job on the walk means this: heeling with loose leash walking, right? So the dog actually chooses to walk by you loose leash. The dog's not pulling, the dog's not sniffing, not doing what it wants, but it's doing what you want, just walking nice and smooth beside you. That's what I mean by a job. He has to stay by you. He cannot sniff. He cannot pee. He cannot poop. He cannot lunge. He cannot bark. His job is to stay by your side, right? So hip perpendicular to your hip. Perpendicular? No. Parallel to your hip. Keep his collar parallel to your hip. And he must do this with loose leash, not tension. No tension on the leash. That is what I mean by the job on the walk. He must choose to say, I have to do this because my owner is facilitating that this is a boundary. So I can't do anything else, and I've accepted that I can't do anything else but walk nice and peacefully by my owner's side. That's what I mean by a job to do on the walk. Moses has been great lately. He gets in his kennel and gives us slow growls, but not full-on aggression. Best way to combat that, I would say just stick with what you're doing. If he does growl, that's okay. That just may seem like he's nervous. Don't do anything different, and it'll melt away. Just stick with what you're doing. The growling just may go away. All right, but if you do get him in his kennel and you want to really eliminate that, give him a job to do in the kennel, which means I would go ahead and put him on in a down, right? And I would just combat that with down. So when he gets in that kennel, down, and then close the kennel door. Just giving him something to do in that uncertain moment. All right, thank you for your question. Let's see. Your take on medicating a fearful dog. Prozac. My experience, I have not found one time where I would say a dog needed Prozac. And I'm gonna get crap from veterinarians. I'm gonna get crap for people who's used it. I don't see a difference. I always, when people come to me with their dog needing to be medicated, I always ask them if they would like me to wean it off or see if he actually needs it. I haven't had a dog that came here that actually needed it. So, I think people really need to learn how to really establish the non-negotiable boundaries, and that will help everything. Like the dog that I'm working, Porter, he's a fearful dog. He's a more than average fearful dog. And today we were working place, and I think he had some prior training because he did that. He came to it really well, but you can see him start to feel more safe with me as we just do something that he has to do. He has to get on the cot And then he has to sit down. And he starts to say, okay, this is what we're doing. I'm cool with it. And then I'm cool with you. I don't make, here's the deal, guys. Took my dog to the vet today just for a checkup, right? Boy, was I upset. And I'll tell you why. This is the culture at veterinarians, or at the vet's office. This is the culture. When they come in the door, it's mayhem. The person comes in screaming, "Oh, hi." The veterinarian comes in screaming, "Oh, hi, how are you?" All that. Ugh. Oh, I just don't like it. I don't think that's the right approach. And it just builds a reactive dog. It builds a dog that sees people and then explodes with insecurity. Excitement is a very fine line between excitement and insecurity. And what seems to be excitement could be insecurity. And so sometimes if a dog learns how to manipulate that situation by biting, they will. And so I told them to, I said, I'm in the same scenario all the time. Like every dog I see, not just once a week like you guys see. Every dog I see is probably human aggressive, right? And I don't get bit. Why? Because I don't do that. I let the dog come to me. I don't even care about the dog. Dog's not there to me. Dog's not there to me. I don't care about the dog. I'm talking to the adult. It's like minding the child too much. It's like, oh, there's a child. Let me go touch it. No, who cares about the child? The two adults are talking. And then the dog says, cool, you don't care about me. And then he's willing to engage with me without fear. So I would motivate veterinarians to try that approach. I know that they have time that is limited. And I know that they only see dogs, sometimes they don't see dogs but once every 3 years or something like that, or whatever. But I would challenge vets to do that. How about when you come into the room, you have a conversation with the owner and ignore the dog. Don't come in and right away you see the dog. What the hell? That's like a stranger coming into the room and automatically wanting to put his hands on you. You are going to sometimes not like that. Well, most of the time. I would say all the time. The normal human being would just not like that. So, I wanted to see if it was a problem. So I asked them, do you have this problem? Is this a regular problem for you? Yeah, once a week or something like that. I would like to exchange ideas with you then, because everyone thinks that the dog has to get along with every single person it knows, or just be able to be pet by every single. That's what constitutes a good dog? No, not necessarily. Because you would say a dog that could be fearful on a stranger is still a good dog. But it's just fearful amongst strangers that are trying to impose themselves on them. Can you blame the dog? So the approach to socialization should probably be changed. The approach to socialization should be trying to socialize a dog to people as the same way you would socialize a dog to a tree. Yeah, I said it, a tree. Think about how indifferent they are when they see a tree. Same way with people, in my opinion. But hard to find people who don't want to touch your dog. Get your dog around people who don't like dogs. How about that? And I bet you your dog is very well socialized, because they won't see a person and freak out. They'll see a person and they'll say, oh, what's up? Cool. Not, oh God, it's party time. Here they come. Oh my God. All that's not necessary. I just want a dog to see a person and be like, cool. What's next? That's how they build those service dogs. Those service dogs cannot be reactive towards people. They have to be amongst people and be calm. And so they don't touch. They're not allowed to touch service dogs. So it should be the same way with other dogs. Okay, so I'm not saying dogs shouldn't be touched by people all the time. Just in certain circumstances when the dog is calm and when the person can be calm too. Please, let's just reinforce the calm behavior. That just made my blood boil when she came in and wanted to. First of all, my dog Mac, he already loves people, but now he's built anxiety because when he sees people, everyone wants to freaking touch him. And you feel like a jerk when you say, nope, you can't touch my dog. Sorry, can't be pet. But I don't like it because he now whines when he sees a person. I don't want that. I just want him to be calm when he sees people. So, anywho, that was another rant. Sorry about it, guys. All right, it's 7:01. You guys have been great. Let me make sure I got all these daggum questions. Hold on. Here we go. Got some more questions. All right. Jeremy, any thoughts on our dog putting his paws on the counters and dining table? We say no, but he still shrugs it off. Thanks. Hey, Todd, no, I would definitely stop that by a way of, you can even get a pet convincer. You can get a spray bottle. You can tell that you're going to need something other than your voice to get that dog to listen to you. The moment it happens. So I would use some sort of tool. You could even put aluminum cans with pennies on it, so that the dog maybe hits the one with the paws and it gets a little frightened because of the pennies in the can. Or you can set up a baking sheet, and so the dog knocks down the baking sheet and makes a loud noise and then doesn't go on the counter. But you're going to need something else other than your voice, because your voice is just not enough in this circumstance. All right? Thank you for your question. I love this. What is the best way to get a dog to be calm in the car when they see other cars / people driving next to us? It's not so much the short rides. It's the long ones that make him cry, whine, almost like he wants to go say hi. Hold on. I got to finish your question. Let me log in on Facebook here. Okay. And let me refresh this. Some good questions tonight, man. Jeez. All right. So now I don't even have to upload my videos to YouTube because I'm live YouTube right now. Okay. How come it won't let me see all the questions? All right. Can I see all the questions? Where is that one at? Recommendation on... Nope. How do you regain control? What do you mean by giving the dog the job? 100%. Okay. What's the best way to... Okay, here we go. Short drives. Not so much the issues. It's longer rides that affect him. So what I would do, Crystal, is I would give your dog simply give your dog a job to do when he's riding in the car. A lot of dogs develop anxiety about those cars because they are too young, and certain dogs cannot handle all of that stimuli at once. That's why it's very important, and it may be very beneficial. There we go. No, don't do that. It may be very beneficial when you are when you have a puppy or a young impressionable dog, that you put the dog in a crate in your car. So I would say that first and foremost, if you have an impressionable dog, put them in the car. Too much stimuli in the beginning can make dogs freak out and develop anxiety. The sounds, the size, all of that stuff plays a big role. But to alleviate that, you have to give the dog a job to do in the car, which is lay down. Make the dog lay down in the car, giving him something else to think about other than what he wants to divulge in. He wants to, or he doesn't want to, but he does dive into his insecurities. And so to alleviate that, put him in a down and make him stay there and let him deal with it in that way. Or help him see that, he doesn't have to get into those insecure moments in the car. But the car anxiety is a big, big thing for a lot of dogs. It's a big problem for a lot of dogs, and it takes a lot of work after a while to get over that car anxiety. How do we build this, and why does it happen? Because they're anticipating all these things in the car. They're anticipating going into the car, and they're hyper, and then we let them in. We're reinforcing the anxiety to now get into the car. And then when we stop, they're anticipating coming out of the car, because when we stop, what do? We let them out of the car. So their anxiety builds up because of that. So we really have to work on, this is one of the things that I do to help alleviate car anxiety, is when I put my dogs in the car, first of all, they have to be in a crate because it's safer, and I have clients' dogs, so they have to be in a crate. But I put them in the crate, and we usually just sit there for a while until I can get them calm, or I put them in a down. They're not in the car, and they're not like this. They're not doing this. They're not doing any of that. I want them in a down, and I want them to be calm before we move. And then once we move, if I have a really reactive dog, I will keep them in a down in order to keep them calm somewhat. And then when we stop, it's very important that I turn off the car, pull out the keys, and we sit there until I hear nothing, and then that they are calm. But if keys mean excitement, if door means excitement, if stops mean excitement, that's what we're fighting against. We don't want to build a reactive dog in any way. So car reactive dogs are just reacting to their environment because they have not been told what to do. Why? Because we think it's funny that they're maybe stick their head out the window, or they're very excited that they come into the car, out of the car, or they're very excited that they're going to the dog park, or they're very excited just to be in the car, that we let them do what they want. Okay, but sometimes it's just not healthy for them to carry on with that anxiety. So, another long answer to a short question. So I apologize. Let me make sure I got all the questions. In your experience, what is the biggest... Oh, I already got that one. Hi, Jeremy. Cheers. Got that one. Got that one. Sibling rivalry. Got that one. A calm, assertive, and consistent leader needs to be, in my opinion, to receive the best dog. Correct. Our vet is amazing with our dogs. Approach from hello is perfect. Beautiful. Amen. Exercise, discipline, and structure seems to solve so many problems. Hey, Deke, how are you? All right. Well, we have been working with June a lot, but I've noticed she's not responsive to us when we try to call her inside. We have a half-acre fenced-in backyard, so it's a pretty big area. Any advice on what we should do what we should be doing to help her with her recall? Yes. What I would do, Cindy, there's a couple of things that you can do, but one of the things that I would do is I would sit at the door, or I would stand at the door, and I would call her, and I would say, June, come, and just stand there and wait for about 15 seconds. If she does not come, then you go towards her. You walk towards her, and then when you get close to her, tell her to sit. And then if she starts to sit, then you grab her by her collar and you bring her inside. All right? And you do that every single time. Your dog will come because they know you're gonna come and get them. But put your sort of body pressure your body presence as pressure on the dog. If the dog doesn't come, go get her. And if she tries to run from you, tell her to sit continuously until she sits. Grab her by the collar, bring her in. Guarantee you, if you do that enough times, she will come. She came to me every single time because she knew if she didn't, I was going to come get her. Simple as that. No problem. All right? But you got to be willing to come get her. If she thinks you're not going to come get her and she has a chance to not listen, she's not going to listen. Because I know June. She's sassy. Sassy fries. All right, let me make sure I got all the questions here. What do you mean? How do you regain reclamation? Okay. Got that one. He stands on it, heading from work. Moses has been great. When will pack walk start again? Also, still doing the controlled playtime. Lola and I are looking forward to it. Pack walk, we're gonna have one tonight. I mean, this weekend. Pack walks will be at the Pier River Walk, which the details are below. So if you just scroll below, the details are there. Okay. What's the best way to get a dog to be calm in the... Oh, I already got that one. There have been studies done on dogs with Prozac leading to heart problems. Dang, I didn't know that. But that's messed up. Best way to introduce my dog to strangers. When they come to our house, I usually put her in a crate and she barks. When she's calm, I let her out. And she meets the strangers and she's fine. However, I was told it's wrong. No. I would say that is correct. As long as the dog is calm, nothing can be wrong. Man, that just rhymed almost. As long as the dog is calm, nothing can be wrong. If the dog is calm in the crate and you take the dog out of the crate, you did a good job by that dog. If the dog is calm with the strangers around, you did a really good job by that dog. And if it works, then you did fine. If the dog doesn't get scared, you did good. I don't see anything wrong with your approach. That is exactly what I tell people to do. So, good job, kudos, and I think that's a great approach. I've noticed it's gotten worse since we surrender Roxy. Could be fearful that he's not going to come back home with us. Who the heck are you talking about? He's 4 or 5 and 70 pounds. I would say this. Oh, Rachel. What's up, Rachel? I would say this. Yeah, maybe it may be a little bit of an adjustment if one dog is gone or not. You may have some anxiety because they're gone and stuff like that. But dogs can get over stuff really quickly if you allow them to. Oh, from the car ride. Okay. All right. No. Don't worry about that, I would say. I would say do what I suggested to you. Do what I suggested and don't worry about that. Again, dogs can get over stuff if we sort of make them hold them accountable to doing so, right? So they're resilient creatures, but we can't give in to their anxieties simply because of these factors that we really shouldn't be given into. So I would just go ahead and advocate for that dog in the car. If the dog shouldn't be insecure in the car, then show him that he shouldn't be insecure in the car. All right, that's being a parent. All right, let me see. Any more questions, guys? Otherwise, we're going to wrap this thing up. All right, perfect. Anyway, all right, guys. I appreciate you being here with me. Thirsty Thursdays, episode 29. Jeremy Majors Academy Dog Training. We'll be here next Thursday. If you are here and you are a past client, come out to our pack walk. It's going to be great. I appreciate the likes and the thumbs up. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for everything. And thank you, YouTube, for being awesome. There are exactly 0 watchers right now, so that's awesome. But anyway, all right. See y'all next time. Have a good night.